right, so I'm not really looking forward to going over this, but gotta do what you gotta do, I suppose.
I want some nasty. Are we having fun yet?
All right, so this was sent over to me. Apparently, it's some more San Antonio Spurs Wembanyama nonsense, and I have been getting tired and sick of seeing this. So just from reading this alone, I already know it's going to be absolutely ridiculous. It's been this really strange narrative push, not only from ESPN, but even local San Antonio Spurs news outlets. And I guess we can go over that in another video. But this is very frustrating, man. So I'm not familiar with this show, but apparently this is on television. I have no idea. Someone told me it is. It says DraftKings Network. I had no idea they had a network. But let's go ahead and listen to what they have to say about Wembanyama's time in San Antonio. Talking about a rookie time left with San Antonio. I don't know, dude.
Host of All the Smoke brought this up the other day, that he believes that if the colors on the uniform were different, we might actually be going even higher with our conversations about Victor Wembanyama.
I think
Okay, I have no idea what that even meant. Hold on, let's see.
he would be the best player in the league if he was on the team with two other stars right now. We will be calling him the best player in the league because his team will be probably at the top of the East or West, and he'll be having these same stats. So if he was on a better team, we will be saying he probably is the best player in the league right now.
I disagree. So the reason why I disagree is, number one, this is blasphemous. If he was on a better team and he had all stars or stars around him, Wembanyama would not be the best player in the league. Now, I will say maybe possibly right now we can say he's a top 10, but I don't think that the narrative push will be, is he the best in the league? Me personally, I don't. And the reason why is because if he was even on a more national stage, now he's on a national stage right now, but let's say an even bigger national stage, with a better team, mind you, sure, everyone would be praising him, and I'm sure he would get even more attention than he is right now. But I think it will also open up a lot of criticism as well, because Wembanyama, there's a few gaps in his game right now, and I think that will be on full display. Now, could I see it going the other way, right? Like, let's say that he's in Chet Holmgren's position right now. We already know he would be killing in that position, next to SGA. I mean, they would be giving him praise for sure, but I don't know if they gave Wemby any of the room that Popovich has given him to work with. You're going to see some of those flaws offensively, and I think people would point it out probably more easily. I don't know. That's just my skepticism of the media in general. I feel like they're pretty harsh, too harsh at times. So that's just my thoughts. But at the same time, I could see it going the other way. So if anybody in the comments is like, no, I could definitely see people saying he's the best in the league because his numbers will probably be even better. Sure. But I feel like him being in San Antonio, there is kind of a safety blanket, because I mean, a lot of Spurs fans, I mean, we've seen some crazy takes, but there's not a lot of people calling out the crazy amount of turnovers that Wemby dishes out at times. But he's great. He is great. And I wouldn't argue with if someone said he's top 10, top 15. Probably. Yeah, probably.
Well, I mean, this is like the Chet Holmgren conversation, where so much of Chet's Rookie of the Year campaign was based off the fact that, yeah, you're on a much better team. And so not only do you get the association with winning the...
Well, being Rookie of the Year versus being the top player in the NBA are completely two different things, but I'll hear him out.
Usually helps with awards, Dad, but you also get a little bit of relief. Like, Victor Wembanyama's maybe got one other guy on that team you can consistently count on for some relief, especially offensively. You look at Oklahoma City, you've got an MVP candidate in Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. You've got the rest of Lou Dort and the rest of that lineup, offensively and defensively, that provides help in other places to spread the floor. So there is certainly that part of it. Yes, even the best players require a little more around them to fully shine the way they're capable of.
I guess the way
I don't know. Gosh, where's this conversation going? Look, we only got 40 seconds left in this clip. Where are we going with this?
I would put this to wrap this part of the conversation up is,
what?
I don't think we're going to see great players do what Dame Lillard did. Hang out in one place and say, I'm going to try and win here. If it's not working in San Antonio, I think Wemby is going to get out of there. I don't think you'll see that decade.
And by the way, this always comes from people that have not kept up with the San Antonio Spurs, that kept up with Wemby at all, or, you know, heard anything coming out of San Antonio. It's just speculation. I think at this point it's been kind of, I don't know. I feel like a lot of fans, we've been conditioned at this point to just expect players to leave. And, you know, I don't want to say it's all LeBron, because it's not. But, you know, we have had major superstars just bounce, even in the best of situations, right? So you had LeBron leaving to Miami. You know, obviously being in Cleveland wasn't the best situation. So, okay, whatever. But then you had KD literally leaving his team to go to the team that just beat him in the playoffs. Insane. And then you got Kawhi Leonard, who would leave the San Antonio Spurs that went to the Western Conference Finals and then go win a championship with Toronto and then still leave. So I understand at this point, everyone is kind of on the edge of their seats when it comes to players sticking around or whatnot. But this is the same thing we've heard time and time again from other franchises, and very less incompetent franchises, mind you. So people have said this about Zion. People have said this about Luka Doncic. And I truly do believe those two have been on the brink of leaving. And Luka probably still is, right? People said that about Trae Young, which I think Trae Young might be on the way out, possibly with Atlanta. But at the same time, I don't know. I don't think just because things aren't panning out right now that we should even have a conversation about Wembanyama leaving, him going to another franchise potentially. The San Antonio Spurs got him under contract, was like 4 years. I think you can do a qualifying offer that can add on to a year. So we got very least probably 5 years with Wemby for us to figure this out. And we're the Spurs. I mean, I'm not trying to be arrogant or cocky or anything like that, but I know my franchise, okay? It's a very competent franchise. So I don't think that this should be panic at all. I don't even think this should be a topic of conversation in year one of a rookie who literally the number one pick in the NBA, who would literally go to one of the worst teams in the NBA because he's the top pick in the NBA. Like, I don't know why we're even talking about this. And then to add on to it, you know, even after these years that we have with him, he will qualify for an extension. You can give an extension. I mean, we could very well have Wemby for 8 years. I don't know. I don't know why this is even an issue right now. And the Spurs have verbalized with Wemby a multitude of occasions on what's going on. It's been reported. It's been stated. We know that everyone understands. And even when you hear the type of language that our owner is using versus Popovich versus our players, they are all in sync. They all understand what's going on. And it's very frustrating to hear stuff like this where we're even trying to entertain the idea of Victor going somewhere.
Loyalty of, I'm going to just stay here and I know we're going to win here eventually, even though they didn't win and now Dame is in Milwaukee. I don't see that happening anymore where it lasts that long. So I don't think it's anything other than to say San Antonio's on the clock of getting a good team or a better team to a great team built around this guy in the next year or so.
In the next year or so? Are we serious? Are we serious? In the next year, the San Antonio Spurs need to be a contender, or else Victor Wembanyama is out of here. Now, I am not foolish, okay? I understand the amount of talent that we have right here. I understand that Victor is one of a kind. If he was with the franchise, the San Antonio Spurs, any franchise, and we weren't doing right by him, for instance, what some fans have wanted us to do, if you just go out and just get a bunch of stars, just try to get as many stars as you can and just get rid of all these draft picks, and you look decent for a year or two, and then now we're getting into year 4, year 5, and now it's like, okay, yeah, this didn't really pan out, and now we have no levity, we have no picks, draft picks, we have no cap space. I understand at that point he would be like, yeah, I want out. But I don't even know why we're discussing this in the next year or so. Like, have we learned anything as far as the whole reason why a lot of these narratives go around, and the whole reason why a lot of people sit back and they're like, this player wants out, this player wants out of this franchise. You got to keep in mind that, you know, apart from some anomalies like Kawhi and KD, a lot of times these are very incompetent franchises to the point where they rushed the process. They didn't do it organically. They didn't do it smartly. The San Antonio Spurs have been doing it smartly. And it's like people are starting to forget what type of franchise he's in. People forget that Victor purposefully wanted to go to San Antonio. This dude literally said he had like a vision, no doubt. Okay, he said this. I don't know the exact words. All right, I'm paraphrasing a little bit, but he said he had a vision of coming to San Antonio, almost like it came to him in a dream, like it was divine. Yeah, he feels like he has a purpose in San Antonio. I don't think it's so quick as to say 1 more year and it's over. That's just insane to me. I think that's very silly. That's very short-sighted. And I feel like, not to talk bad about these guys or nothing, it's whatever, but it just feels like it comes from people that just don't know the Spurs or haven't kept up with Victor at all. It's very frustrating. Yeah, I hate this. This is terrible. This sucks. I have no idea what's going on here. Let's see. Whoa, 76 comments. Oh my gosh. Okay, this looks like a ratio. Let's see. Media people want all the good players on 3 or 4 teams, and that's all they care about. Shut up. He's in his rookie season. Let him play. Okay. Well, okay. I can see why ESPN cut bait with. Oh, which one's Golic? Is this guy Golic? They cut bait with him? I don't know about that. Number 1 pick gets drafted to a team with a young team with a bad record. Shocking. This is just the laziest commentary anyone can. Okay, so fans kind of notice it, right? Okay, cool. All right, this is a little cathartic, honestly. Ooh, Akira Toriyama's trending. Okay, focus. Focus. If you listen to any of what Victor has said, to anything he has done, he's committed to carrying the Spurs to a championship, not jumping ship with the sight of one rain cloud. Yeah, and don't get me wrong, man. You know, if things were, I truly do mean this. If the Spurs became incompetent in the next couple years, and they were no longer showing that foresight that they've shown in previous seasons, if they just went straight into this and just said, "Hey, we're just gonna pile as many players as we can and try to win right now," I would say with a lot of confidence, guys, we probably need to worry about the next few years, because this is not going to pan out, and I don't know if Wemby will be here when this doesn't pan out. But I don't feel that way. I think the Spurs have set themselves up very nicely. You are just like ESPN, trying to force us onto costly mistakes just so Wemby ends up in New York or Los Angeles. Imagine saying this 60 games into a rookie season. Yeah. This is disappointing. Wow. Okay. Maybe these guys want Wemby to go to the Rockets. Crazy. How could y'all talk so soon on this? I'm sure you meant rookie. Of course, San Antonio will get important pieces. I'd understand if year 2 came along with no new talent added. Yeah, it's like we're in the season. Like that's what frustrates me too. Is like, what are they supposed to do at this point? You know, I mean, whatever. I couldn't, you know, in a year he could be gone. It's just silly to me. Anyways, I will give it to you guys later, man. I guess we can go over the other article in another video. But until next time, bye.